Hello folks, today is the day, the 22nd of October 1982. 40 years ago, Rambo was bombed. Let's talk about it straight after this. Anyway folks, today is a special. We're talking about Rambo First Blood. 40 years ago today, Rambo went onto the screens in the cinema in the USA. It's 40 years old. First Blood, one of my favourite films. The new t-shirt I got today, I got from the official stallone.com merchandise. Still got the label ticket there. But yeah, I'm wearing this because today we're talking about First Blood, Rambo. So yeah, it came out in the cinema 22nd of October 1982. It hit the cinemas in the USA. There's our VHS tape. The original VHS full EMI of Rambo First Blood. Absolute blinding film. Can't knock it. It's one of my favourite films. Well, one of my in the top 5. I didn't get to see it until probably a little bit later on because I was too young at the time. I was only 7 years old. In my early teens, I had someone come round and bring this round, and we watched it, and it was fantastic. I couldn't believe it, you know what I mean? It's like you want to dress up as Rambo as a kid, go in the woods and play your little guns and stuff. But it's just amazing how that is a true story, based on a book by David Morale, based on a Vietnam veteran who came back from the Vietnam, and no one really wanted to take him seriously and called them baby killers and didn't accept what they'd done in Vietnam. So David done a book, First Blood. I don't know how long ago it was in between the films, but someone must have picked it up, read it and said, oh yeah, like, yeah, let's do a film. So they did First Blood. It's about a guy who comes back from Vietnam. He wants to go and see his friend. He dies of cancer, and he can't accept the fact that he's died, and he wants to go and get something to eat. As he's wearing his US flag patch bag and coat, he goes into the town and he wants to get something to eat, but the sheriff doesn't really like drifters and can't accept that he's wearing that in his town, so he wants to get him out of town to go somewhere else because it might cause trouble. He sends him onto a bridge and says, like, yeah, 20 or 30 miles down the road, why can't I get something in here? Because you can't, don't like drifters, slackers, don't like people like you. So he goes him on the bridge. While the sheriff Teasel is driving back, Rambo thinks, oh, I'm not having this. Raining, want to get something to eat, you know what I mean? Why is he going to push me? So the sheriff is driving back. He sees him in his wing mirror that he's walking towards him, so he reverses and says, like, what are you doing? You're under arrest. So he drifts him into the police station, does his fingerprints. His men, the sheriff's men, take the piss and spray him down and beat him up and that, and just be idiots. But they don't know he's a former Vietnam veteran who's got so much PTSD on his head that he just goes on a rampage and just says, right, you know, let's fucking have it, you know what I mean? He goes in the woods, takes them out one by one, but they don't kill him. He doesn't kill them, but he injures them bad enough to say, keep away. So drafting the National Guard, hunting down, he goes on the rampage, and he does not want to take no for an answer. He's like, you know, leave me alone, go away. But he has to go on to that form of army survival to survive, because they just hunt him down like a dog, and it's out of order because they don't understand what he's been through. There's only one person who died, that's the Gulf in the helicopter. He tries to shoot him behind the tree when he's on the run from Teasel and his men. So Rambo is trying to get away from Teasel's men in the woods. The helicopter is trying to steer the helicopter. He can't steer it because he's thrown a rock, and Teasel Gulf falls out the helicopter and dies. That's the only person who dies in Rambo First Blood. It's really, really good. It came out in cinema in October the 22nd, 40 years ago today, 1982. The TV version was premiered on the 12th of May 1985, but I only found out a few years ago that there was some deleted scenes. I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Someone found a copy of the TV version with deleted scenes in it, and I never knew they existed. There's a bit where, remember, Rambo goes to golf, he picks him up, gets his jacket, his gun, and he had to sew up his arm. Remember that bit? But in the TV version, this part what I'm going to show you, he runs, he checks his coat and that, and he checks the magazine and puts it back, checks the gun magazine, don't sew up his arm. There's another bit where Teal's and his men's looking at Golf's body, and they have a bit of a row, and he says, "Oh, he's dead, that psycho out there." They're going to get that Medal of Honor and pin it to his liver, where he's holding the ginger-headed geezer, and the other goes, "Oh, I'm ready when you are," and they have a bit of a discussion now.
I'm going to get that son of a bitch, and I'm going to pin that Congressional Medal of Honor to his liver, and I'm going to do it with you. Or without you.
Well, I'm ready when you are. All right, let's get going.
There's another bit where Rambo's in the cave a little bit later on, and he's got his flame a little bit with the rats like going through the cave and stuff. Another bit where Teasel and Troutman later on is in the bar talking late at night. Another bit where the camera crew are seeing the Teasel and his men getting drifted from the woods on stretchers. There's a little bit of talking dialogue in that with Troutman.
Colonel. Thanks for the drink. Come on, I'll give you a ride to the airport.
Oh, thanks, I can handle it. Well, I can't say it's exactly been a pleasure, Colonel. Have a nice life.
Good luck to you.
Yeah. Sorry about this. Go ahead to the hospital. All right, come on, let's get this done.
Your problem. Listen, Dave. Don't give me any of your horse shit about jurisdiction in this one, you understand?
Would you like me to step outside?
Just finish up what you're doing.
Why didn't you leave the kid alone in the first place? Damn it, Dave. What do you think, this kid just waltzed into town and announced he was a Congressional Medal of Honor winner, and then I just leaned on him for the hell of it? I tried to do him a favor. I treated him like he was one of my neighbor's kids. I did my job, Dave. I booked him for vagrancy and resisting arrest.
You seem pretty well motivated on this one.
Why don't you go out there and take a look at what's left of my men? You'll see just how motivated I am, Dave. And if that doesn't do it for you, why don't you go have a talk with Art Galt's widow?
All right, Will. I read you. Listen, I got 25 men I can bring up from Monroe.
All right, Dave, I can use them. Got a lot of ground to cover.
I came here to rescue you from him.
Well, we all appreciate your concern, Colonel. I will try to be extra careful.
You picked the wrong man to push.
No, Troutman, he picked the wrong man.
That boy's a heart attack. He may be the best that Special Forces ever produced. Whatever you're planning to throw at him here, he's been through a whole lot worse. In a lot worse places than this.
Roger, we copy. Huh. That's the weirdest yet. The dogs say he's traveling north and west, away from the road and up into the hills. Yeah?
It's suicide.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Captain? Yeah, this is command post. Yeah, we got me on Thursday.
That be right, Troutman?
Colonel, a call from Washington.
Troutman.
That is suicide. It's patience. Keeps cutting up and back and up and back and up and back until he finds that gap.
And it doesn't make any sense to go away from the road.
Dave, get back on the horn with the National Guard. Tell them to move north and west. Tell them to watch the gaps. Keep it closed up.
Yeah.
There's the alternative ending where Rambo does die, and there's a blooper as well where Troutman gets the gun and he says something. You can't really understand what he says, but he says something, and they all laughed. Camera crew laughed, so it's out there on the internet.
Yeah. Sometimes you get so mad you think you're going crazy. Then it goes away, that hot feeling. It's not going away anymore, and I can't control it, Colonel. And I can't spend the rest of my life in a cell either. If I gotta die, I want you to do it. Don't let them do it. You trained me. You made me. You killed me. You owe me that. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. You trained me. You made me. You do it. You kill me. Do it. You owe me that. Don't let him do it. You do it. Do it. Do it. Thanks a million. Okay.
So, if they kept the original ending, we wouldn't have Rambo 2, 3, 4 or Last Blood 5. So, it's lucky they did make him alive, because then we wouldn't have the other sequels later on. But yeah, they did the book, did the film, and there was more deleted scenes in the film which I didn't know about, which they've already filmed back in the day. But they, whether or not we'll ever see them, it's like supposed to be the Vietnam scene, more Vietnam scene at the start where Rambo's in the sheriff's arresting place where he's getting tied up and they want to shave him. There's a flashback of where he's tied up and he's getting cut. They done loads of Vietnam scenes, but whether or not it was any good or not, I don't know. But it's on the cutting room floor, or it's in the vaults, and they filmed a lot. I've got the making of First Blood, which I found on the internet and I downloaded it. It shows you some really good stuff of flashback scene, lost flashback, Saigon scene, alternative ending blooper, Rambo 4 return to the ranch, Rambo on the set, the trailers, the making of First Blood 1 and 2, interview with Grandmaster Vietnam commander who cuts Rambo's chest. What else do we have? We have Rambo on set, Walls of Hope, 29-20 frame scene, Lazy Susan. Lazy Susan is about the helicopter. Was supposed to be like up in the air and Rambo's on the cliff and then he jumps and he falls. They done it on a platform, and Rambo, well, Sylvester Stallone never really actually jumped that full rock because he would have died. Stuntman done that. But there's a scene where Rambo's falling through the tree, and I think he went to a certain height, and then Sylvester Stallone did jump, and he cracked a few branches, and then he cracked on a branch where he goes, "Ah, Jesus Christ!" Like, and he cracks it, and he falls on the floor. That's where he broke his rib in real life. So he must have been up like 30-40 foot and thought, "Oh, do this jump," so it looks like he fall from the rock onto the tree and onto the floor, and that's where he actually broke his rib. So when he's behind the tree, ducking from the Gulf was shooting him, and he's trying to get the rock to throw at the helicopter, you can see on his face he's in pain, he's like, and he just wants to get out of there. But they must have cut it for a couple of months and then gone back in and done the rest of it, because if he's got broken ribs, that must really hurt. So yeah, that's the making of Rambo. I got it on 3 discs, I got it off the internet ages ago. So that's the first film. Got the book, got the DVD, and then later on, they made a sequel, which is Rambo First Blood Part 2, and that came out in 22nd of May 1985. Really good sequel. Rambo has to go back and get some POWs from Vietnam, and he's controlled by a guy called Murdoch, who tells Troutman if he gets the POWs, then he can be released from prison, because he's in prison because of Rambo First Blood Part 1, where he fucks up the town and he does all the coppers. So he's been put in jail for that, and he's got an alternative, do the POWs mission and get him back and you'll be released. So he does that, but Murdoch's a bit of a twisted arsehole and he's supposed to rescue him, but he calls him back, he leaves him in Vietnam to die. But Rambo goes on the hell, break loose, and he kills all the Vietnam people and the Russians, and he goes after Murdoch at the end, which is blinding. Really good sequel if you haven't seen it. And then they've done a part 3, which came out in January. Then they've done part 3, which is May the 25th, 1988. Wasn't too bad. It's more of an Afghanistan kind of film. Rambo in Afghanistan fighting Russians again. And there's a couple of deleted scenes in that. In Rambo 2, there's one little short snippet of a deleted scene where he jumps out of the helicopter, out the plane, and he gets caught up. He has to cut his equipment and his gun and that, and he's catching up, and he cuts and he breaks away. And there's a big communication. What's happening? Is he broken off? Yeah, he's cut loose. He's cut his gun. He's cut his parachute. He's gone. I can't see him, but he must have gone. So he falls away, and there's another bit where it's called the Halo scene, where you see Rambo parachuting from a distance, and then he falls into the jungle. And that's a deleted scene which was supposed to be in Rambo 2, but they cut it. But it's on the TV version, which I've got.
You wish to test your strength. Good. Good. Very good.
To transmit coordinates. You'll state your name, that you've been captured as a spy, that your mission was a failure, and all such missions will fail. And tell them not to attempt such hostile aggression again. You understand?
So yeah, they've done part 3, which came out in 25th of May 1988. There's that's the Afghanistan one with Rambo going after Russians and stuff, and there's another couple of scenes there, a Dreadnought scene where there's a sniper where he's shooting the Russians coming up the cliff with Troutman, and there's a few other bits and pieces, and an alternative ending where he stays with the Afghanistan people on horses.
more road. What do you mean, no more road?
What is that on the map?
It's a country.
Hold it. Hey, stop.
Stop. Okay, stop.
I'm gonna check the cargo while you take a look at that map.
Be back in a second.
That's the police as well, though.
These are Mujahideen horsemen. There are 10,000 horsemen more waiting at the border. They are waiting to get weapons. When they'll get it, they come back here to fight. A wedding. Isn't life difficult enough?
Today, one of my gunships has been destroyed, and 3 Spetsnaz commando killed. This has never happened in my sector before.
My condolences.
You know who is responsible, don't you? Who is this man? Who is this John Rambo?
Go to hell.
How's the wound? You told us to ignore pain, didn't you? Is it working? Not really. Don't take it personally. Thanks.
Пошел на юго-запад.
Так точно. На юго-запад. We're out of range. They're closing on us. We gotta slow them down. Try the dragon off. Range is 1,000 yards. Wide right! Hit! Wide left! Hit! 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 We're out. Well, I bought us some time. Come on.
Первая линия. Кладеванский. Первая линия.
You go on ahead. Let's see if you can find some cover.
Hard to believe, John. What's that, sir? Well, I hate to admit it, but the truth is I think we're getting a little soft, John. Maybe just a little. Could you pull up, sir? What's wrong?
I'm going back.
You sure about this?
You said when I come full circle, I'll know where I belong. For now, I think I belong here.
I understand, John.
Goodbye, sir.
Good luck to you, John.
And then part 4, John Rambo, or Rambo, came out 24th of January 2008, 20 years later after Rambo 3. He was in Burma, where he's like a snake catcher man person, helping out, and he's got his bow and arrow and he's fishing. These people want to come back, like explore kind of Americans, and like, you know, find a few bits out, and just tell them, no, go away, leave us alone, all this, and they go and discover some stuff what they wanted. They get captured by the Burmese army, and Rambo has to go out and rescue them with some mercenaries, and it all hell breaks loose, and there's a big massive fight at the end, like Rambo style, and a big gun where he was shooting all these people with a fucking gun and that, and it's the bloodiest scene I've ever seen in a film, where he's shooting the hell out of all these army people with this massive big gun on a jeep, and he's slaughtering them. All heads are blowing off and all that, and all blood's going everywhere. It's fucking wicked. And then Rambo Last Blood came out 20th of September 2019, only a couple of years ago. We're in 2022, so it's only like 2-3 years ago. And I went to see that in cinema. That was the last film I went to see in cinema, and that was really good. That had an alternative start. Some cinemas had the start where he starts off and he's in his tunnel and he's on the ranch and he's like, you know, the start of it. Or there's some cinemas where they had the alternative ending where he has to rescue these people from a flood, and it floods the whole of this mountain, and two people are like, you know, in their traps, and he has to go in there with his horse and rescue them. And it's really, really, really good. They should have kept that in, but for some reason I don't know why I took that out, but oh well. Anyway, further on, moving on, we've got video games. So we got the 360 Rambo, the video game, absolute blinding, where you're Rambo and you're going through part 1, 2 and 3 of the films. You're like got your two hands and you're going through one part, you've got to defeat like a few bits like in the woods, and then you go through another section, and then you go through another section, and you go through every single film, 1, 2 and 3 as Rambo. There was an arcade game based on this, and I think it came out on 360 as well, which you see, but you can't download it. I think the makers had a bit of a disagreement with Xbox or Microsoft, and they didn't, somehow the license went a bit tits up, and I think they had to take it off the store, so you can't download this, and this is quite hard to find. But yeah, I bought this when it first came out, and it's based actually like the arcade game where it's a massive big machine, you've got a gun, you're shooting and that, like as Rambo, going through part 1, 2 and 3 of the films. which are really, really good. And then you had The Son of Rambo, a bit of a kind of a spoof of Rambo. It's got the kids, they want to play Rambo after one of them gets a pirate copy of Rambo First Blood. They watch it and they quite like it, and they want to make their own film as kids in the woods, so they dress up as like Rambo and Colonel Troutman. I think that's the kind of plot of the story, but I haven't even seen it because it's still in its wrapping, and stuff. But yeah, so I think that's based on kind of the kids playing Rambo when you're a kid, about 11 or 12. You want to go in the woods, dress up and make up, and you make your own little guns and stuff, and you just like try and make it yourself. But I think they had like a video camera, and I think they was making their own version as kids in the woods. So I think that's what that is based on. I did do a fan edit of Rambo First Blood. I got all the deleted scenes from what was out there in the internet, put them back into the film, and made my own fan edit version. It was like a long cut. They had the Saigon scene, the alternative ending where he dies. Bits in the wood, Teasel and Troutman going to the bar over night time and have a little more chat. Quite a few scenes to make it more extended, 20 minutes more, and it was pretty cool what I've done. A lot of people have seen it, my version of a fan edit, to make it extended, and they quite like it, and they've downloaded it and they've kept it. So yeah, I'm pleased to say that it's good to talk about the 40th anniversary today of First Blood Part 1. If we didn't have that film, then we wouldn't have the franchise of Rambo. Good they didn't do the alternative death scene, because we wouldn't have Part 2, 3, 4 and 5. But yeah, video games, Mega Drive, they had the little one going around and he's shooting and dropping bombs and going through Rambo Part 3. Then we had the arcade version where you have the two characters that are running, and your shooting could be Troutman or Rambo. Then you had the arcade game based on the 360 where you got two hands, you're running and you're like Rambo, and you're shooting from like a 3D perspective. But yeah, that's my take on Rambo 40th anniversary today, on the 22nd of October 1982, which today is the 22nd of October 2022. So 40 years today is Rambo First Blood Day. So anyway, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed these films. If you haven't seen them, watch them. If you haven't played the video games, play them. Wicked. Read the book if you ain't read the book yet, by David Morrell. But you've been watching Mike of Rambo today. Next week will be back to Mike's chat for videos and games and toys. But you've been watching Mike Rambo style today, 40th anniversary. Got this from Sylvester Stallone's official website with merchandise. That's why I've still got the tag. You've been listening to Mike chat about Rambo, and we see you next week. Cheers. Thanks.